Rotated throughout the day, all day, by a lot of different teachers, a lot of different players. And one of the things we most like about it is for sure the player feedback. So, and I think that's really where the benefit is for it. I'm somebody who loves numbers and really didn't have a training aid for putting that we loved because it was simple enough until Blast. And now we can't get enough of it. So thanks, Mike. So just we'll talk a little bit about some of the things we really value in putting. And these are things that, being Luke Donald's coach, and I've taught Luke his short game since 1997, and I'm fortunate enough to watch him to become arguably the best putter in the world. And these are the principles that he really worked under, and Luke has used to Blast golf a lot as well. So some things that we see and hear a lot that we're going to use, first and most simply, is just the timing. And I really think that's the best benefit to it. And I got too close there, Mike. For us, that timing, that 2-to-1 was something we'd always taught. We knew from a physics standpoint was right, that if we could get that 2-to-1 ratio, it's amazing how much we see stroke parameters improve. It's crazy. People are better with their loft control, their lie control, their face rotation, and their speed when they get that 2-to-1 ratio. So we are most simply doing a lot of it right here from these two numbers, and really working on that tempo and rhythm, trying to get that 2-to-1 ratio. I need some practice. Mike, how'd we do?
Good. Now with the Bluetooth in there, you just have to, you can't cover it like you can outdoors. Yeah, perfect.
Now we're good?
Yeah, you're great.
We're getting it. All right, let's see how I did. And I'll be the first to tell you, my rhythm gets worse close to the hole and affects my face rotation.
Great.
So, is that one still loading?
No, that's just a little hit that you made.
Oh, it reloaded it.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, I'll quit doing the extra.
Done hitting the stroke, just stay there. I'll shag for you. There you go.
All right. Perfect. So that's close there, 0.7 to 0.39. So we got that to a ratio, 1.08 total seconds, 1.8 to 1. And for me, I think that's about the right time. 1.1 is what I see when I putt my best.
Okay.
And again, the feedback that I love here is we can just really set players up from this data and figure it out. So what I would say when I looked at that data to get it to 1.1 basically where I wanted, I was a little too slow back and not fast enough through. And I love this aspect of it. We will just set it on the ground in front of players. And I was joking that for those of you that ever watched that Whiplash movie, if you remember kind of the critical scene, I feel like J.K. Simmons, the actor, because I'm constantly telling people, too slow back, too fast through, too fast back, too slow through. You know, if you remember that scene in the movie, he was talking about rushing and dragging to the drummer. You're rushing, you're dragging, you're rushing. And it's amazing. It's a great self-learning tool where people are actually feeling it themselves. And at first, it's hard to change both parameters in the same. At first, they'll change them the same way. We'll see people right away go, if I tell them they need a faster backstroke, but their through stroke was correct, they'll go fast on both ends. Then they'll have to learn, or they'll go slow on both ends, and then they've got to learn to time it up. So for me, I would need to lengthen this out a little bit. I need to get the pace better on the backstroke, but still keep the acceleration. That's a better hit, for sure. So that was closer, but again, I did the same thing there. I was too slow going through because I got longer back. I didn't get the acceleration on the way through. So again, with our players, this is the exact feedback we'd be using. So I need to keep that same rhythm back, but I need to get a little bit better acceleration on the way through. You know, and I'll start to feel the contact improve as I do it quite a bit. All right, let's try again. You know, and especially, I'm such a big believer that most people have really misunderstood acceleration in putting. And I think one of the greatest disservices we did to people is when we start telling them to go really short back and long through. I know as a kid, every time I watched that decelerated putt, the left to right putt, miss short rights, and he goes, oh, you decelerated, Pat. Go shorter back and longer and faster through. You know, we've known that we need to see correct acceleration. We need to see the acceleration here, not here. And this really helps us quantify it and measure it with players. You're shagging for me, Mike? Yep. I'm sure there's a lot of Bluetooths in here, I think, Mike. All right, let's see if we can get it working a little better.
Stay there until it gets done. Keep it close.
Got it. All right, perfect. So there I would say I nailed it. That's what the stroke I'm looking for. And I could really feel a different acceleration and a different strike there. And as I said, I'm pretty good from 10 to 20 feet. I can get it all the time. I start getting to 3 or 4 feet and I struggle. I'll start going 1.8 to 1 and I'll hook it. I'll get a little bit of face rotation closed when I do it. The parameters change. Now it's really interesting. We've done a ton of work with Luke Donald on this. And basically his stroke is going to be 1.08. Is that a pretty common tour player number, Mike? I've never asked you that.
Yeah, it's just on the outskirts. So yeah. 90 is like in the middle, so it's just outside.
And I would say if you watch Luke Donald putt, you'd say he has a longer stroke comparatively, really good rhythm. But we have done this thing from 3 feet to 70 feet, and we will see that same parameter. It never changes. He's some kind of 0.72 to 0.36. Doesn't matter if it's 3 feet. The only time it changes is when we start getting over 50 or 60 feet. And which way do you think it gets when I get them longer? Total stroke time. What was the guess? He still keeps it at 2 to 1, but the total time changes. What would you guess?
Oh, I guess it's shorter.
It's shorter. It's the only time I see a stroke speed up, which again, for your students, this is such valuable information because, you know, I think everybody's thought a longer putt should take longer, a shorter putt should take less time. But we see the opposite. I can take Luke from 3 to 50 feet. It takes 1.08 seconds and is 2 to 1 every time. I start getting him to 60 or 70 feet, he'll do it in like 1.03 seconds. He's getting better acceleration to do it and doing it a little faster, getting that club swinging in motion. Now, I'll show you some of the other parameters that we use a lot in working with this. This is a playing board with Sam McKenney, who teaches with me at the Wildcat Golf Academy. And this is one of the most common tools. In our golf facility, there's 4 or 5 of these laying around. And so some things that Blast also helps us with in teaching this is, I think lie is really critical in putting. And it's why I never, as much as, you know, the idea that we could stick our heel onto a putting plane arc and train it, I never found it that accurate for a couple reasons. Okay, one, there was no rise to it. It made it look, the stroke look two-dimensional on the ground. But 2, I could change the lie all I wanted. And lie greatly affects where the ball goes. And so this allows us to just go ahead and measure lie angle as we're doing it. Sorry about that. Back rotation, rotation change, we talk about that, long. But this is the number we want to talk about a lot. And again, I'm probably a good one to have up here because I make this mistake. As I told you, close to the hole, I get hooking it a little bit and I'll miss left. And every time I miss left, my lie decreases. And it greatly impacts the face rotation. That's a direct correlator for me. If I can maintain the lie during the stroke, I can maintain the face rotation way better and won't essentially face hook putts. So we'll use this device a lot, where we're getting players in here and just teaching them to maintain that lie angle all the time. And most important, we need them to feel that the bottom of this shaft stays on the board so that they can really go ahead and maintain this lie angle. And we've got some of the boards even have Luke Donald's stroke measured out and the way his shaft rotates to give you a feel for how much rise there is. But this lie angle is really important. I'll guarantee you the people you're teaching that miss left and hook, their lie angle is decreasing significantly while doing it. We'll go ahead and hit a couple putts on this just to get the feeling, and then we'll talk about face rotation. This is good practice for me. I need a little more of this. I even feel I got the bottom of it off a little bit. Lie decrease 0.3 though, pretty good. would be within good parameters of doing it. And when we really get testing people on this, we can just zero out every number on Mike's machine. This is a great training aid and basically cheats all the numbers a little bit. We can zero out face rotation, zero out loft, zero out lie. But I could feel a little bit there that as I got that bottom off, the lie barely decreased. And I got the rotation a little bit. No, I kept the rotation good though. That was good for me to see a rotation open. It's a good sign for me. Because if we do this on my own, we'll see it get closed. So again, we'll use it a lot for lie. And we see that as such a strong correlator between maintaining the face. And I'll tell you too that Luke, this is an aid he trained on a lot. And we've went through, for 10 years, we've went through all kinds of homemade versions of it. But this is about the most valuable thing. I'll always tell people, you know, if you want to try to homemade create it, you can take your little ironing board and try to flip it up and prop it on some hooks or something. But get feeling the shaft stay the same. The other thing it shows too that we've used glass for a lot is with the face rotation. We'll talk about that. And we've used it a lot in fitting because of face rotation. You know, and typically anybody we see that's predisposed to a hook, this answer style putter is going to make it hook worse. And we know that when we use our plane board and we get a clip on similar to this, some version of this will get clipped on. You know, and all I did now was have to keep the face at all times square to the plane. So pretty simple concept in putting. Keep the face square to the plane. But this changes, the type of putter changes how much face rotation you see, even when we rig it up where it can't do anything but rotate naturally. Okay, so if we put this shaft in the center and we give you a mallet head, we're gonna see less rotation back, less rotation through. You take this answer style putter and we're gonna see increased rotation on both sides with no manipulation at all, where it can't be manipulated. So it's a good fitting tool. So again, we'll start fitting if you have a player who's predisposed to too much rotation, and particularly over-rotates it closed on the way through. This really helps us quantify how each putter affects that. Now, it doesn't make their mistake go away, it just minimizes the damage they do. So I'm a good example of somebody who has too much face rotation closed. I will do it worse with this putter. You put me in that mallet center shafted and my numbers will get better. My stroke didn't get better. We just minimize the mistake. So the other thing, the number that we again will use a lot is this rotation change, changing both rotations, and you just really have to tie that into aim. We're doing a ton of work with string lines, a ton of work learning to roll the ball straight. And in a perfect world, the way we train Luke Donald, any of the kids we train to putt, is we'd really like to train you to aim straight and hit a straight putt. That's a perfect world. To me, that's the most simple scenario. But there are a lot of good putters who don't aim straight always. That they will aim one way, but they can consistently deliver the face. So it's not necessarily that I always want this rotation change to be 0. My preference would be 0, but you have to be able to aim correctly if you're 0. So there are times we've worked with players who might get a rotation change of 1 closed, but they aim that effective amount to the right all the time, which is good. So again, get it set up with some kind of a string line, understand what your aim goals are and your face rotation goals. But we all know that we've over-taught path, and that in the end, we can screw the path up a little bit, but if we can control the face, we're a great putter. And my head coach for my men's team is a guy named David Ingles. And David played in a Walker Cup, played in a Palmer Cup, won the British Boys, medaled in the British Am, hitting low hooks and not being a very, very good ball striker. Luckily, David's not here, so I can say that right now. But he made a career out of putting and really overachieved as a player due to putting. And his fundamentals are quite a bit different at times than mine. Hands are a little bit lower. Uses a pretty short putter with a shorter time stroke than I would or Luke would, quite a bit. But he can basically zero out lie, loft, and face every time he putts. And so even though he doesn't maybe look like Luke Donald putting, he putts as good or better than him strictly based on those 3 numbers. And that's one thing we consistently see with great putters. If you can control those numbers and then add in the tempo and the rhythm, you're going to be a great putter. And we'll use it a lot again for speed control with the timing. see the different length. We want to see that same time, and that is really hard for people to grasp. And it's great to have such easy, accessible data to show it to them. And again, most of the time with these blasts, that iPhone is on the ground right here, and that player is putting, and they are hitting that putt, and immediately they're just looking right at the phone in front of them and trying to figure out what they have to do to control the data. You know, so easy access. I gotta stay right here, Mike.
Don't cover it.
Oh, don't cover it. You know, so there it's easy for me to see. I got it 1.4 degrees closed, so I better either learn to aim right or aim correctly and stroke it better, but it helps me understand what to work on. My loft was good. Lie slightly decreased again. That's a direct correlator to why my face rotated closed. 1.8 to 1. 0.62 to 0.34, so I'm right back where I started today. I need to practice some. I'm going right back to too short with good acceleration through. So this time again, I'm going to try to get that correct acceleration. I need to lengthen it out time-wise on the backstroke and get the same acceleration. Am I coming? That was good. So that was good. I got it right there. And again, I can feel the hit. Now, one of the most interesting things you're going to have with your students when you first use this, everybody's going to hit it too hard. People have been accelerating so incorrectly, and they have no idea what it feels like to really make good contact. And that will take some adjustment over time, but for the first time ever, they're going to make great contact. And you're going to see them have to adjust. It's going to take some practice to get it down. But the rest of their parameters are going to narrow in so much. They're going to hit better putts, more consistent speed. It just takes some time to convince a person, well, that 6-foot putt now needs to be hit like a 2-foot putt. That 10-foot putt needs to be hit like a 6-foot putt, but we don't want to give up any of the correct acceleration to do it. So, Mike, can we answer any questions? Should we bring anyone up to putt? What do we want to do?
Yeah, let's bring someone up there. Yeah. Come on up.
Who's ready to putt? Must be somebody in here. No? Otherwise, I'll have to bring Sam up.
I'll do it.
All right, come on, come putt some. Kevin, how are you? Pat Goss. Kevin is an assistant, it looks like, at one of the nicest clubs in America. Here, let's get you off this for a little bit. This is, I have famously, where Kevin's at Deepdale Golf Club, for those that haven't been there, the 18th green. So fast, so pitched, and I successfully not only putted it off the green, but pretty close to that road that crosses. Yeah, I could have got it into the lake, so. All right, let's see how we're doing. Kevin, what kind of putter are you?
When you get done with the stroke, just don't cover it up. That's fine.
Yeah, so there we go, 0.63 to 0.32. You a good putter? Let me get over here.
I can change that pretty fast. Typically, always open. I use this one.
You do. So you're always open. So he's close on ratio, back rotation, he's rotating open. So you're somebody, you'd be a good candidate for an answer style putter. Forward rotation, loft increased a little bit, lie really good. That was impressive. So what do you have to feel? So for Kevin, we would be doing two things. One, we would start here and we'd want to get this timing first. This would be my first goal. And I would tell you, do you think that 0.95 was the right time? So if that's the right time, then we got to get this a little faster or long. It's got to take longer. This has got to get faster. So let's see you feel like you lengthen out time-wise. And again, you got to really tell people we're talking about time here. Now it's going to equate to distance, but we're really talking about time. So let's take more time on the back and get better acceleration through. Look good. I would say you have a bit of a passive looking stroke. You overdid it. What we learned is Kevin's a good learner. But again, for this tool where Blast is so good, is he's just looking at it. He's like, all right, I got close there. I actually overdid it a little bit. So we don't need to be quite as long on the back, but I would still want to keep that acceleration there. Because you made the whole stroke a little bit longer. You got it to 1. Let's do it again, see if you can feel it. You're getting close. But again, you can see he can really put in a good 10-minute session here where he has these numbers and he's just bopping back and forth, giving himself the feedback. It's a great self-learning tool. Now let's talk a little bit. What do you have to feel the rotation? So that one I would probably, well, back rotation 6.7 to 4.4, this length of putt, probably a little too much rotation back. And we would get you set up. Unfortunately, the shaft here is not great for this. So let's try it. We do. Sorry, I gotta get away from this thing. Get on there, take some strokes. A little bit longer. What do you feel there from a rotation point? For you, you need to make sure this end really stays on as it comes through. Yep. Yep. So again, we know that what we've done here is we've given him a fundamentally simple, perfect stroke rotation-wise, but it makes him feel closed to closed. It's good feedback. All right, go ahead and get set up for me, Kevin. Here, hold the ball. I got to do this without me. Go ahead and get set up. I'll get the ball for you. Really focus on getting that front end of that plane control device to keep it on there. That was good. So you can see we were really able to influence his rotation. But again, where this device is so great is what did you feel there, Kevin? Felt shut. What about on the way through? Right. It's just showing him it's that feel versus real that we all talk about as golf instructors. So he's getting real-time data on what he's doing that he can use to find his zero. So with your mistake then, are you missing left to right putts low? Yeah. You know, so this for him, this is going to be a critical feel left to right. You know, he's somebody who has to feel like he hooks it into the hill. It's essentially what I would be telling you. And I'll tell you, your mistake is on. I would bet, congratulations. I would say 90% of putters I teach, shut, well, shut. It's probably most common. Or learn shut to manipulate it open. We don't see too many people who can't close it down enough. So let's give you one more. Let's get a good feel. Yep. Yeah. So again, you're seeing better numbers. You're doing better. It's a good feel for you. So again, be pretty easy for Kevin to get on that putting green at Deepdale, get his iPhone on the ground, and be able to hit putts of varying lengths, and just give himself that consistent feedback of what he can do to improve. That this is where it's the best. And we've sold subsequently quite a few to students. You know, it's affordable enough, it's easy enough to use. If you're slightly technically inclined, if I can set the thing up, that means any one of you guys can do it, for sure. So it was easy enough to do. Anybody else want to hit some putts? Louise, how are you? Yeah, come on up. All right, Pat. Graham, good to see you.
I'll talk to you later.
See you, Ben. You're going to be here at 4:30?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Well, let's catch up, whatever.
All right.
But you're going to be actually Monday.
Yes, Monday, Tuesday. All right, I'll see you Tuesday. I'll see you then. All right, let's get this off. I don't need this yet. I'd hit a 10-foot putter or something. Mike provided us this nice back stop. Tell me about your putting.
So I'm not texting the guy, so I know that I putt or have a tendency to close the blade and then I push it this way.
You miss right?
And I've been fitted with a putter just recently to get my aim in, but I'm putting like better than I've ever putted in my life.
So this is the perfect student. He's putting better than he's ever putted in his life. All I can do is screw him up in 5 minutes. It's a great opportunity.
That's it. The golf for my putting. I wanted to check this out.
Good. He should be using it. So we saw there 0.7. Now how about this? Do you miss short or long?
I miss short.
He misses short. And almost anybody in general, if you're going to have people who miss consistently short and have trouble putting on fast greens, that tempo is not going to get to 2 to 1. And that's where they're missing the acceleration. And that's exactly what we saw here, 0.76 to 0.41. And right away, I don't see too many strokes that get to 1.2. We do. So I'm just kind of doing the math on this to get to 2 to 1. You're going to need to go faster to the ball. Is what you're going to do. Let's see what else we learned. Total stroke, there's that 1.8 to 1, 1.17 seconds. We need to get that down. Great job controlling the face. That was really good. Loft increased a little bit lie. So again, I look here. This is a guy who's a pretty good putter. He's controlling the lie. He's controlling the face. Those are signs of really good putters. We can get rid of the short through some better acceleration. And remember the key phrase, and this really helps us, and Blast again defines this, is you need to accelerate to the ball. And too many people are trying to accelerate past the ball. But we know that that acceleration has to come from here to here. And that by definition, once we hit the ball, there was a collision. So there's complete deceleration. So the only acceleration that has any valuable is that gets to the golf ball. And some of that research you see now will show that tour players actually decelerate slightly before they hit the ball. That it's not just the deceleration that comes from the collision. There's an actual deceleration before. And that's what gives that hit. No different than our towel snap. And we know we need this to decelerate to make this end accelerate.
That's what I've been taught right now.
Yeah.
And the way that I'm putting is to help me accelerate earlier and to get the ball to roll up a little more.
Yeah. And he pointed out a great thing too. You'll see better roll when people do this. You'll see the way the ball comes off. So let's see if we can do it a little bit. I need you to really feel like your backstroke time stayed the same, but you got better acceleration to the ball. We got to get this number down 4/100ths of a second. From here to here. That's where we need the speed. Probably still slow. Let's see. No, you nailed it. You nailed it. So that was really good. He was able to get in there and he actually got it to 2.1 to 1. I'm always striving for that 2 to 1, and I know Mike will tell us that that's the number you want, and that shows the best control of the stroke and all the other numbers align. But when players make a mistake at 2.1 to 1, I'm still seeing pretty good putters. Do you find that, or did I just make that up?
Yeah, no, of course it's very similar.
Yeah, so I don't. If you err on 2.1, 2.2 sometimes, I still see really good putters. 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, I see people who are poor putters. So that was really good. That was good. Let's do one more. Again, good stuff here. Oh, there we go. That was pretty good. He did it again. You're a quick learner. But again, that's the value in this. We see a lot of quick learners when the data is that easily accessible. All we're doing is providing a platform and they're teaching themselves. So, yes. I will say though, I've been so consumed with doing it in putting, I haven't done it that much in pool swing. So I've been just so enamored with the impact we're seeing with helping people putt, with the way they're practicing, the information they're getting, that I haven't taken the time to really do it enough. So that's your next goal, is to teach me that. So, Mike, thank you for having me up here today. Thank you.